So this is our first video using Python. Before we really do much or really explain how it works, we need to do a hello world. So there are two different versions of Python that are commonly used. There's 2.7, which you might already have on your computer, depending on what type of computer you have, and there's also Python 3. Now, Python 2.7 is the older version. It's pretty much done with an occasional bug fix or two if it's absolutely needed. It became pretty popular, so there's still a lot of people that use it. Python 3, however, is the one that is still current and being developed and whatnot. So we're going to focus on Python 3 with this course, since it's considered the current model. There are still a lot of people that use Python 2.7, and you can do a lot of great stuff with it. There are some custom libraries out there that are not available for Python 3, but we're not going to be using any of those in this course. There are, of course, some modules and libraries now for Python 3 that weren't made for Python 2.7 because it's the outdated one. So what is a hello world file? Basically, just a line or two of code to make sure things are working. Now, how many lines of code it requires varies a little bit from language to language, but for Python, it's a single line. So to try it in idle, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to launch a browser, because we're going to do it actually online before we try installing it, so that way you know what to expect. So I want you to go to python.org/shell. And this is what it should look like. It's loading a simulation of Python here in your browser. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Hello World in Python is really easy. It's pretty easy in pretty much any language, but some of them, depending on what language it is, might have a little more upfront just to kind of set up the file itself. Python, it's easy. We basically type print, put in some parentheses, open quotation marks, hello world, close quotation marks, close parentheses, and we press enter. And there we go. It printed back hello world. That's the program. It was successful. Now you might say, like, well, that was really easy, and that's the point. The point isn't about the program being hard. It's to make sure that it worked. So we know that this simulation of Python is doing what it's supposed to. Now, of course, there could be issues somewhere else, but we at least know that it was installed successfully and it was able to run. The last way I'm going to talk about running it for this video is through REPL.it. And we can go on here to Python 3. You can create a username and stuff if you want, but you don't have to. And once again, same thing. Print, open parentheses, hello world. And in here, it actually closes the quotes for me, closes the parentheses. It has some syntax highlighting and stuff, and we'll talk about some of those later. If I tell it to run, there we go. So you can see that it worked. Hopefully it did for you too.